What's up, Duke fans? Welcome to the Devil's Den podcast. I'm your host, Josh Smith, joined by my co-host, Raul and Shoe, and we are coming at y'all after a big-time ACC tournament here in Charlotte. Our guy Shoe got to cover that for us, so we're going to get into a lot of the backstage, behind-the-scenes stuff, a little bit of kind of press row here action. Fellas, I'll run through it here a little bit off the top. First off, it's incredibly impressive to pull this thing off down to starters, considering the teams that we played here. So for those maybe not completely cued in, we'll run through it here briefly. Duke took down FSU in the quarterfinals, 80-79. A bit of an interesting one in that one, just briefly, just because of the fact that Duke wins 80-79, Carolina loses 80-79 on the same night right there. So you missed the part three potential. Duke goes by Clemson then in the semifinals, 73-61, before finishing out another close game in the championship against a really good Virginia team, 74-70. So that marks 3 out of 4 for John Shire here, for those keeping count, 2 in a row as well. So, it's always nice to hang some banners here, fellas, but I think that puts us up to 32-2. That's 2 ACC losses in 2 years. That's pretty damn good, fellas. So we're going to get into that a little bit here. I guess just kind of as we get started. I know we're going to get into this probably a little bit deeper, but Shoe, just for you, man, like just the overall vibes in Charlotte. Just kind of walk us through a little bit of. I know you get to kind of see the guys behind the scenes on the preseason. Preseason as they're coming in and warming up and all of that stuff. So kind of just walk us through a little bit of your overall experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great turnout again. Obviously, being here in Charlotte, there's a lot of Carolina blue, a lot of Duke blue. Clemson fans traveled well, a lot of Virginia fans, good bit from Miami and Louisville. Obviously, I only started going on Thursday, but I thought they did a good job. How it's all done, and then obviously the Duke like program. It's. When you see it up close, coaches have said how much of a well-oiled machine it is, and it truly is from every aspect of the games.
Yeah, everything's real nice and tight, man. I mean, it's a well-oiled machine over there. Fellas, I guess let's start by I mentioned it at the top here. You're down 2 starters coming into this thing, so no Caleb Foster, no Pat Ngongba, and Duke doesn't even really play their best either, like in this tournament, yet they still win the thing. So I guess for you all, we haven't done a pod yet. We kind of always like to wait until after an ACC tournament is over, just because everything's such in flux here. Fellas, heading into this thing, if I told you no Pat for the whole tournament, no Foster for the whole tournament, we kind of knew that coming in, but did you expect to still come out and win this thing, or how impressed were you with the result, knowing that?
Well, I mean, look, on our ACC tournament preview, I don't believe any of us picked Duke to win it all. We said that they had a shot, of course, right? Like when you have Caden Boozer and you have, all the talent up and down the roster, you obviously always have a shot. But we were kind of questioning, like, how seriously is Duke even going to take this? Well, apparently seriously enough to win, but also just like, I just thought, besides the level of seriousness, just those guys are big losses, and you did see the impact, right? Like it's not, clearly Duke's defense really suffered in that first game. I mean, I think FSU is just a hard matchup for Duke in general for various reasons we could get into. But then, offensively, I thought like we really missed Pat, especially, particularly in that Virginia game. I thought having Pat as like the big man behind Cam would have given him like a guy to throw lobs to, and would have taken some attention off of him. And that's why Cam got swatted so much at the rim. I thought that was a big part of it. So, just to be able to do that when you're missing these highly impactful starters, was just incredibly impressive, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, look, coming out of the Carolina game, Pat warmed up in the Carolina game. I think, it was a game time decision. He could have played last Saturday. So we held him out of this tournament really for, precautionary reasons. So that's what led me to assume that, we're not going to go out and purposely lose a game, but, were we going to win? I didn't know if we were going to really expand as much energy as we needed. But I think it says a lot about the mentality of these guys, especially like the boot men. We don't want to lose, no excuses, next man up. I talked to Darren Harris about that in the outside the locker room. I mean, to come in without Caleb, having Caden, because remember early on in the season, it was kind of like, when's Caden going to take over this point guard spot? And it really never materialized, but obviously he's more than capable of handling the duties. I mean, he was fantastic aside from that first game that, maybe just a little too much for him, but yeah, played incredible against Clemson and Virginia. And then I think also, it gave us a chance for Nik to step up and for Darren to step up. A little bit of a silver lining in it. So when you can go out there and beat these two teams, Florida State, they are what they are, but they have been playing hot. Coming into this game, was worried about them. They were playing great, and they wanted us. They wanted that smoke, so they would talk about it. McCray, playmaker, he made some hell of shots. I mean, he had the ball in his hands to win it. Not honestly, I was worried about that when they had the ball to win it.
I'm glad he settled for the shot. I mean, it wasn't a terrible shot, but I'm glad that it was kind of like, okay, there was some time there. But yeah,
sure.
I was thrilled that Dame didn't get called for a foul there.
Just trying to get up on,
because he was close to the edge there. Now he didn't foul him, to be clear, but that was one of those things where you kind of get into somebody's space like that. I mean, I know they tend to let a little bit more go on those final shots, but that was nerve-wracking for sure.
Yeah. And shouts to you, Shoe, too, in the press conference from last night of talking to John about this a little different, but that's 2 years in a row. Maybe not down 2 starters, but down 2 players.
Two key guys. I mean, last year you lose
Malik starter worthy, right?
So, you lose Cooper.
You lose your number 1 pick.
That's
a little bit different.
And then in both tournaments, you end up playing the second best team in the ACC in the final. So it's not like you got a pass where you just got some upsets and got So to do that down 2 players 2 years in a row after having only 1 loss in the conference each year is just incredible dominance.
And I walk away kind of feeling the same way as I did last year, thinking that like, oh, there is some silver lining to this. Like we come into March now knowing that like, ooh, Khan is elevated like big time in that tournament, right? And so from here, it's clearly you're getting Caden giving you something that takes you into March to where now if you get Caleb back, whenever he's ready, I'm imagining now if this continues at this rate, it's like, hey, he can come 15, 20 off the bench if that's, just to get back out there for you to get this thing kind of a little more depth out there, if you will. But yeah, I mean,
that's the value of having both of them, right? Is that you don't have to play one of them 37 or 40 minutes, right? Because that's what Caden did in these last 2 games, and you don't want him doing that 6 games in a row. So that's why you want Caleb back, even if he's not at 100%. I don't imagine he's just going to come out there and play 30 minutes and just be firing away. I imagine we'll see a reduced form of Caleb, at least in that first game back. But just having somebody who can come in for 15 minutes, if only to take some of, Darren Harris's minutes. Now, Harris has played well for the most part, but in that FSU game, he was a -9 in just 8 minutes. So you see some of his limitations there. Caleb is certainly a better player, is my point.
Yeah,
well, the good news is
from Caden and give him Darren. Go ahead.
The conference tournaments you can play 3, 4, maybe even 5 days in a row, right? We're into the season where it's 3 2-game tournaments essentially, right? Survive the first weekend, second weekend's going to get step up in heavyweight. You're going to have to play ball, and then obviously you try to get to the final one.
Yeah. So, man, incredibly impressive. And we're going to get some flowers here at the end. I mean, I think, for me, and it's on our outline too, but like there's kind of 2 big things that I take away from this tournament. One, it was, Slim, Caden, and Cam in some capacity in all 3 of these games really carry you here. Now you kind of ran into where it was just 2 of the 3. But you got 2 of those 3 at a level that you needed in every single game. I mean, in the game against FSU, you got Slim going for 32, Cam right there doing his dominant thing. Clemson, Cam is terrific, and Caden gives you 16 in a game that Slim wasn't really super active. And then he comes back in the finals and gives you 20 points and the clutch free throws. I mean, he hits all 4 of his free throws. Virginia misses a front end down 2 here, y'all, from Malik Thomas, who was 5 of 5. It could go differently.
To be fair, that was after Cam had missed 2 free throws as well, so it kind of balanced out, right?
Yeah. So he had just missed his 2 as well. So, but yeah, man, you got a little triumvirate there that kind of carried us here in Charlotte, y'all. And then the other thing for me was just the runs that happened in this tournament. Now we gave up some, we had a coach out or 2 get it this year.
FSU had a 10-0. run.
Yeah, Virginia, I think, also had a kill shot there early too as well, right? And so there were some runs, but then you saw us have some pretty massive runs here. Obviously, the Florida State 19-2 or whatever it was. It was 19-2,
19-2, yeah.
2, I believe it was.
And then the massive run versus Clemson, obviously in the first half, that just blew the game open and put that one completely out of reach. You know, it was 19-18, and then we finished the half 41-22. They had one field goal during that entire stretch.
Yeah, I asked John about that in the press conference in the Clemson game. You know, that's when Malik goes out. We go to that kind of two wing. You know, that's assist to Josh. Josh gave me that. So I asked John about it, and he mentioned that, like, Darren got us the separation, and then we just kind of piled it on from there.
Yeah. Well, to that point, actually, I have this tweet here from Brian. I'll bring it up. This is interesting to me. So this is Caden Boozer at the 5. And you can see we've been incredibly dominant, especially on the offensive end. So I wonder if that's something we want to look at a little bit more in the early rounds of the tournament. I don't know, just because we are down a man. Now I know we will, at least theoretically have Pat back, but this is just another look we can tap into while we're without Caleb. It's essentially Caden, 3 wings, and Boozer
and Cam.
Yeah, exactly. So and it's been very effective, and I think part of that is just how well Nik's been playing. So we'll obviously get into that in a point, but
yeah, for sure. And for our audio listeners too here, the tweet's referring to
I should have read it out loud. I forgot.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cam at the 5, Duke's +31 in the ACC tournament here, that's giving us another look too, even once you get Pat back, because honestly,
1.37 points per possession. On offense, which is terrific, and 1.01 on defense, which is not amazing but solid enough. You'll take the offensive trade-off.
Well, it's also, to qualify it, it's Cam at the 5 without Malik as well.
Yeah, exactly.
No Pat or Malik. And Malik didn't have his best tournament.
This tournament, really, man. Yeah, I didn't think he was.
FSU, I thought he was really impactful, especially during that run. The 19-2 run was kind of a lot on him there. He got a couple key steals that led to runouts, but the other games, I thought he struggled a little bit, and I thought Nik was the better option overall.
Yeah, he got himself
-9, -8, and the plus minus for those 2 games. So
not super great. But fellas, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, look, not the Malik's one of the big reasons we got there. To this point, so
some of these were matchup kind of things too, right? And the way that we're kind of playing and doing some of this stuff, and I think the fouls, those early fouls, but
that's what hurts.
To that point, FSU is a little bit smaller of a team, whereas Clemson and Virginia both have these massive front lines, right? And I think that's where Malik tends to struggle, because, as I've said like several times recently, I think Malik to me is more of a perimeter defender. He's posing as a big man, but he's really a wing defender, and he can kind of switch into the post, but that's not really his forte. He's not really a shot blocker. He doesn't have the girth to kind of hold up against those bigger guys either. So Khamenia is weirdly kind of the better option there, because he's just kind of got this very stout physical frame, and he's willing to really battle.
He'll throw some weight around.
I mean, he was terrific on, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but he was terrific on DeRidder.
Yeah, I know. I want to talk about Nik just in general here in a minute, but I think we should start, y'all. I think because this is the biggest storyline, is just Caden Boozer here in this one, man. Especially the way that it started versus the way that it ended for him. To play in the FSU game where he gets the Trey Jones treatment here a little bit, right? They just decided hey, we're not guarding you. I thought that was a good play from them too. It's a good strategy to hey, let's throw these guys off a little bit. Credit to John for doing the inverted kind of pick and roll there, and really just saying hey, we're not going to allow you to just pick on us like that. But to then bounce back and to have 16 in both the semifinal and the final, I mean, he completely carried the first half of the Virginia game, dude. It was just Caden doing his thing there. He gets the putback against FSU. He gets the same putback against Virginia here. I mean, I know, Shoe, you talked to him, so we can pull that clip up here. But I don't know, y'all want to play the clip, or should we talk about it? I guess we'll play the clip first, and then we can
because it leads naturally into what we're going to talk about.
Then we'll talk about Caden a little bit.
Choosing us for our team too.
I know you talked about last night kind of being a mental block, the team kind of sagging off, for you not having a great shooting night. Tonight you come out, be really aggressive, attacking the basket. Is that something that the staff told you about, or is that something that you just saw yourself and take it to the hole every time?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
Obviously, Shire told me in the middle of the game that this is going to be a big learning point for me, and obviously he's had to deal with that with Trey Jones, and he kind of reminded me of that, just of having different teams do that to players throughout the entire year. So obviously that was a big moment for me to have, just because it's never happened to me before. So understanding that it can happen again, but not letting it dictate how I play. So still being aggressive and playing my game. So I'm not going to let the team, whether they're sagging off me or whether they're guarding me, just dictate what I'm supposed to do on the court.
Well, at least these guys didn't have Taco Fall guarding you this time.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
I think my favorite part is just how he gets the reference to Taco Fall, right? Because it's not that just John talked to him about Trey. He probably sat down and was like, "Yo, watch this UCF game."
Yeah,
like,
he showed him the clips.
Some clips and be like, "Yo, see this, and this is what we're gonna do." And that's good stuff there.
It was an awesome adjustment, I thought, just by Shire and also by, Caden himself, where I just thought the next couple of games he did such a better job cutting. And then when he did catch the ball, like catching on the move and eating up the space and just doing that instead of just standing kind of stationary on the perimeter waiting for a kick out, I thought was huge. And that's why he was able to, score 16 points 2 games in a row versus, having his struggles in his first game.
Yeah, dude from Virginia's like blocking just everything that Cam's putting up, and here's Caden
Caden's going right into him,
carving them all up, dude. We
to be fair, I think Caden was scoring more in that first half when Grunlow was playing more in that first half.
Yep.
Yeah, he had 1 or 2, I think, when Big Guy was in there, but I know he got swatted once or twice too. I'm sure, right? But
everybody he had some incredible finishes.
9 blocks? He had
he shattered the record, Duncan's record. Yeah.
He had the record for the tournament and the single game record. Yeah. And, he's up to 17.7% block percentage on the year. That has to be one of the greatest shot blocking seasons of all time, right? Because, for perspective, for people who don't follow this nerdy stuff, like Derek Lively was at 12%, and he's the best shot blocker by percentage that Duke has ever had. So to have a guy at almost 18% is just unfathomable.
You get 9.
What would Ralph Sampson's block rate have been?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised Sheldon's wasn't higher too.
I think he's like at 8 or 9 or something.
Wow.
So
which is still really crazy for 6'8".
Yeah,
or 6'9" if you want to get it.
Yeah, and with Sheldon, it's also like he did it over 4 years, just so consistently.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, man, for me, Caden, what he was doing those last 2 games were absolutely incredible. Obviously in the finals to play all 40, I think you mentioned that, Raul, but to play all 40 in a game where Cam is 3 of 17, and I'm literally sitting there, y'all, and it's like, I'm ready. I'm just waiting for Cam to figure it out and to get going. And it's like, man, this guy's just too big. Like, this is not going to work. And it's like at a certain point, you're kind of like, oh, we need to play through the other Boozer. Like we need to go back to playing through the other guy. And it just was a rough night for him. And for those guys to kind of come in, pick him up, lift him up in that way, I think was just huge. It was just huge for Caden to have that moment. So now he gets a chance to really, really lead and do something special as we head into the big tournament here.
Did you guys get a chance to catch the press conference? Like John comes up and, he's like, hey, Caden obviously played great. He's like, Cam and Isaiah were just okay.
Yeah, because they
Slim's like,
yeah. So was your coaching.
Yeah. He's like,
I like that
they
can do that. Yeah. That's a good sign, man, when your team is that way. And John's talked about it too. This is the most player-led team he's ever had. And that
there were times, when I'm sitting there on press row right behind the bench, like John's out talking with Sewell and Brad's, maybe even talking to an official, and Dildy might be controlling the timeout, but a lot of it is Cam, it's Isaiah, it's these guys talking to one another.
Yeah. That's like one of the talking points. And I think it was even one of the reporters had even asked about like Cam's vocal leadership in this tournament like really, really stood out. But to me, man, it wasn't just Cam. It was a clear, and you mentioned it's a clear like, hey, CFOS, our guy, like our quote unquote unofficial captain, if like whatever you want. I mean, he's the captain, maybe him in the league or something. He's down, Pat's out, and like you see Nik doing it too. Like Dame miss a rotation, and Nik sitting there like clapping in his face. As the buzzer goes off, Dame streaks down the court. The first person he goes up to is Nik. So it's like, it's not bad blood, man. It's a complete like accountability that all of these guys have bought into. And when you can do that with each other, like even Slim in the presser, like talking about the floor slap, was like, yeah, but I almost missed my guy. But like, thank God I got back. And it was like, just like talking like that. It's like, oh, these guys just get it, man. They just get it at a level. And I think a lot of it has to do with the boozers that you bring into this too. But go ahead.
I thought Evans was being pretty vocal too. I like that you pointed out Sar and Khamenia, because I've noticed that actually kind of throughout the year. I forget what game was it that Khamenia made another buzzer beater 3 before halftime. Not in this tournament. Was that like at Notre Dame or something? It was just, it all blurs together at this point. But
no, it does kind of. It wasn't that long ago, I feel like. But
yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
Notre Dame was pretty recently, so it could be kind of in that range. But Sar comes running up to him and like chest bumps him, and I love the fact that these are two guys who essentially, by all accounts, play the same position, right, and are competing for minutes. And to see them kind of like embrace each other's success in that way is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, and they look really good when they're out there together.
Too,
in this 3-4. I mean, we mentioned that already, but yeah, man. So I wanted to just kind of not start, I guess, the player kind of talk here a little bit with Caden. I know we're going to get into Nik here, but I think we talked about Caden. Let's just talk about Cam as it is. I mean, he's your tournament MVP here, fellas. 2 big time games against FSU and then Clemson. And then obviously, like I said, he's 3 of 17 here against Virginia. And yet you still find a way. I mean, he misses 2 free throws there in a tie game, and you're like, ooh, this is not looking great, man. And then with all of that's going on, I think the play of the game that probably wins it is he gets his own rebound, and instead of trying to go right back up, finally he's like, let's not give this guy 10 blocks and let's just kick this thing right back out. And I don't think Virginia really expected it because they just let like 7 or 8 seconds come off the clock there. And it's like,
it was kind of weird. I mean, it went to Caden, and Caden immediately over to Isaiah. And then it was Virginia's kind of looking at their bench like, well, you're down 2.
Yeah, that was kind of weird that they were doing
the shot clock's off, so you got a foul. But
but Cam carried the tournament though. I mean, for the most part, man, he hubbed this entire thing.
That was amazing. Like, shot clock and game clock awareness there, right? Just because I think a lot of guys would have gone back hoping for that, immediate score. Then you're up 4 and you just put the game away. But there's only 12 seconds left. Why not just try to run out the clock there? And they have to, get it to Isaiah, who is just, he celebrates when he gets the ball late in the game. It has to take.
He knows. He knows. Yeah, he wants the ball. And it's like, I think it's also too like, this team benefits from the pain of last year, y'all. Like, it's just the way that works. Like, and I know they were doing it last year, but they've talked a lot. I bet they watch a ton of late game stuff, man. They watch a ton. I mean, they watch like recent stuff. They watch old stuff. They talk about it all the time. And we've seen this twice in 2 different games here where we've won games, maybe not because of this, but certainly something similar, right? Like, what was the last one where CFOS has the ball and it's just like they could have fouled him. He just sends it back over. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, cool. You're just going to give us that. You got a foul. I forget what game that was. Now it's off the top of my head, but
Michigan, right?
Yeah, was it Michigan? Yeah, Michigan. Because Cadeau's like, hey, what are you doing?
Like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah. And so you see, and that's Michigan. That's Michigan, like, unaware, man. And then you see it again here, and this is Virginia. These are 2.
And that's the whole team having the humility to know we want Isaiah Evans taking these free throws, right?
Yeah.
Cam kicks it out to Caden, which is fine. Caden's a good free throw shooter, but then Caden's like, wait, I'm 80%. This guy over here is 90.
This is in Charlotte too. It's like this is it, man. This is it. Go get it.
And Isaiah said after the game, he's in the crib. He don't lose there. I mean, 7-0. And look, we have something in common. I'm 7-0 in there too. So
hey, there we go.
Yeah, you're allowed to keep going to press row. If we get to the Final Four, you have to go on press row somehow.
Yeah, you have to get a press pass to get it.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Even if you have to sit behind a Gatorade cooler.
Yeah, that's the DA did stuff behind the cooler there.
About the late game execution, I was also going to say that I thought that generally the shots that we got, even though we didn't convert, were good, right? So there was the Isaiah Evans 3 that kind of bricked off the left side there that Caden was able to swoop in for the rebound, but that's the shot we wanted. And then there was the Caden Boozer drive down the lane. I thought that was fine. I actually thought he wasn't as contested, and it wasn't like it was blocked. He just missed it.
Yeah.
But so I think that just the late game execution overall in terms of like shot quality we've gotten on the year has just been better than last year. It's a noticeable improvement in the coaching, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, even the Dame in the corner there, he missed it, and I think Cam gets the rebound that led to the and one there.
That was my favorite play of the entire tournament.
Massive play.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've been wanting to talk about that. That was the most ridiculous rebound I've ever seen, maybe.
I mean, yeah, dude, because he's still fighting like crazy on the boards, like even and he has 8 assists in this game too, right? And so that's the thing, man, is Cam's gonna cam.
Yep.
He's just gonna cam.
So that was your favorite play. Mine was I think Brown deflects the ball, Nik saves it back to Brown. He kind of lateral passes it off to Sar, who's sprinting, and he got it to Isaiah for the fast break play. And
that was good.
That might have been the Florida State game, like in a kind of pivotal spot.
Yeah,
They all blur together, but I remember that.
Also, not to just take the set that we ran to get that Nik hit the halftime 3 on against Clemson there too. Like that
was beautiful. Like multiple screens there on the left side, right, where you have Sar curling out, then you have Isaiah curling out, and then Nik pops. Really great stuff.
A little Spain action there.
Yeah. Also, Caden getting the dunk too, like where they're like, I think was it Dame or Slim? Maybe
Slim popped it up. Yeah.
It's come, and maybe the most impressive play is the one that like it was a foul, and they call a foul, and Caden just flies through the lane and punches one, and I had to I rewound. I was like, who the hell was that? Like, God, like if you're going to be able to do stuff like that, bro.
Yeah, I was kind of pissed that Isaiah got whistled for the moving screen there. I mean, it was a moving screen, but half the screens that are set are moving screens. So,
well, it was it Clemson or
that was Virginia
one where he got like called for a moving screen, but it's like, dude, they were grabbing him,
me.
Bro, like he was the one getting held here.
A couple other plays that jump out to me while we're talking about those. The Darren Harris leak out Cam outlet pass. Darren gets the and one there. I thought that was a really impressive finish against really a Virginia team that's been blocking all our shots, right? So
and Darren needed it too, man, after kind of like getting, he was giving up he was bleeding some points there, and then the Cam tries to throw the outlet pass to him. He's not ready for it. It's like, oh, okay.
And then there was the Caden. It was off a steal, and it's Caden lob to Sar, where it wasn't a perfect lob, but Sar just catches it one hand and lays it in.
Finishes it. Yeah, no, that was nice. There's a lot of nice plays, man. There's a lot. I mean, obviously you're 3-3, you win a championship. Everybody's playing hard. You're down to start. Like you just had to get gritty, and you had to come in here and do it. And I think that segues us perfectly, y'all. Let's talk a little bit about toughness. We've highlighted this guy, but to me, it's just Nik Khamenia is just like the epitome of toughness in this tournament. There's a lot of guys too, man. But for him to come in this, gives you just 2 massive performances here. Mentioned the 3 he hits against the half against Clemson, but he also gives you 14 and 6. Like it's not just that, right? He had that crucial and one in the second half against Clemson when they were kind of like starting to like push into that lead a little bit, and he just comes and immediately settles you. And then again, another massive performance against UVA. Really, I thought he had a hell of a performance against UVA last game defensively too. And so, yeah, man, let's talk a little bit about Nik. And, I know you got a clip too, Shoe. You talked to Nik. I don't think this is that one specifically, man, but
I talked to him. That was from the Clemson game. So
okay, so and then after that, there's another one on. Or I don't know if it was Matt Giles or maybe it was Blue Devil Nation. Somebody put up there where he's talking about his dad too, playing in front of his dad, and like he started to get emotional and stuff. And it's like it's good to see, man. There's a lot of great, just family oriented stuff in this one. But anyway, let's
get into a little bit of that later with some
the
behind the
grittiness
scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Great game tonight. First off, was 14 points, 6 rebounds. I noticed you were really demonstrative, especially on the defensive end, like getting the guys fired up. Is that the way you've always played your entire life, or is that something that you've kind of thrown into here in this program?
I think it's something I try to develop in high school, probably leadership a little bit. But I just think we needed stops today, and I was on the court, so I was trying to tell guys like we need to get stops because that's a big thing for us to win these games. Especially with 7 guys, we have to get stops, we have to stay solid. So I'm happy we showed poise. I'm happy we were composed, and we started getting stops. All
right, crazy question. They call you Pork Chop? Is that something that started here? Or is that an old nickname?
That's some our strength coach started in the weight room.
Okay.
Pork Chop, yeah.
Okay, appreciate
it. No explanation though.
Yeah, I guess keep that one on the chest a little bit. Yeah, pork chop, man. Yeah, man.
I like it. I like it. I love it. I mean, yeah,
it fits for some reason. I don't know why, but
yeah, I know. Yeah, man. Shouts to Nik, man. He was nails. He was nails in this one.
100%.
Tough as hell. I mean, just it just reminds me a lot of just some of those old school, just gritty, just 6'8" wings that Duke has just loved forever. I mean,
he's just not afraid to just throw his nose in there and mix
it up, man. Just to mix it up. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys something, because I was going to ask this earlier when we were talking about Caden Boozer, but it could easily go here too. Do you think Cam should have won tournament MVP? Because I'm looking at, I mean, he really kind of struggled by his standards, right? He shoots 38%. I know a lot of that is that last game, but it's not like he was super efficient. It's not like he was super efficient in the first game either.
I mean, 24 and 15 and 5.
But 7 to 16, 5, a lot of turnovers this tournament too. Is the other thing.
He did have a lot of turnovers. Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I'm inclined to still say yes, but like, what would be your
who would be your
Caden secondary nominee? Slim? I guess.
I mean, Slim goes for a career high 32, and then follows it up, with a not a great score night, but a career high in rebounds.
And then he has 20
and then 20 in the Virginia game when I don't think he scored for the first 16 minutes of that game. The fact that we were even in that Virginia game with him and Cam giving us absolutely nothing. This is a 10th ranked team in the country, right? Second best team in our conference. I mean, and we're down 2 starters and we're doing that. I mean, Caden was nails the final 2 games, so I don't know. I guess I would go Slim by just an ever so slight margin.
Yeah, I think I have to go Slim because it was 19 points per game over the tournament, even if you only have 6 in that second game. But again, the 10 rebounds makes it good enough.
And that's what I think it's hard because, there's 3 guys I mentioned off the top, right? Caden, Slim, Cam. You got 2 or 3 of them in each of them, but you didn't really get one where they all, and none of them all had a great game across all 3. I mean, you just go through the KenPom stuff and they each get an MVP here, right? Like Slim against FSU, Cam against Clemson, and then Caden gets it against Virginia. For me, I just think I would probably just lean Caden just because of the role, the pressure, what you saw against FSU, and to immediately turn it around and to play 40 in the championship game, score 16. I mean, that's probably where I would just be like, hey,
and having those 2 game-winning putbacks too.
The 2 game-winning putbacks there, and it's that's just what this kid does. Chipotle National, when it gets to this, he can take you there, man. He changes what you can do offensively. The way
we'll say, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I think Cam was generally surprised that he got the tournament.
He did
MVP.
seem a little bit, cool. Probably because he was saying that he was a little frustrated in that last game. He was like, "Oh man, this was tough."
I mean, he knows he played badly. I think.
That's not
that was probably the most frustrated I've ever seen.
That's the toughest game of the year, right?
Yeah.
That's by far his most least efficient game that he's played in a Duke uniform.
The least points he's had before that was 14, and this was 13. And when he had 14, the shooting wasn't nearly this bad. So, I mean,
that was his very first game, right?
It's good to have it now, though. Now you see it again. You've got another chance to see it, and it's okay, you're going to see that length.
Are you going to find that kind of player in going forward? because Onyesa is like the number one shot blocker.
An
in the
18% block percentage, you're not finding that. And you've already played against 7-3 Mara. And so it's like, okay,
right.
But you are going to run into maybe some dude has a night on you where he can get 7 blocks.
Sure.
You can just run into that. Are we going to keep bumping against it, or can we find something else too? And it's like,
well, I think having Pat back would help, right?
Yep.
Alleviate that massive. So
yeah, because you're going to have like better screen set by Pat. You're going to have that lob and roll threat of Pat, and even just having like the way we put our bigs in the corner. Sometimes I know like they're not necessarily guarded, but they're still somebody that you have to worry about, right? Onyesu's like a ostensible assignment there would be Pat versus being like individually matched up with Cam. So I think that's a difference there. But I don't know. I mean, I just think that like if we were to see something like that again, I would hope that Shire would make the adjustment quicker, because I thought this kind of went on a little bit too long this game before we moved Cam to the point. I thought we could have used Cam in pick and pop situations more. Like he's a 41, what is he on the season? But I'm not sure what it is now.
But 41 before that game, but
41% on.
He's still 41.
Yeah. On 3.7 attempts per night. So it's like that is a good option for us if you can't score at the rim.
Yeah. Especially if they're going to give you those walk-in ones, like they were. Clemson gave him some too. I mean, they all I
feel like that's pretty much what every team does with him, right? Like they're so worried about his interior scoring that they'll just let him shoot from out there.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, that's still probably fair, because I think at a certain point, if I am the opposing coach, it's like, okay, is it 41, but is he going to shoot 10 of these? Like, is he going to do, like, is he going to just start like chucking them? And if he is, and he hits 41% at that, and he just crushes you, then he crushes you maybe. But I don't think it's a terrible strategy at some point, because nothing else is working.
Also, if he's out there taking those shots, he's less likely to get an offensive rebound.
Exactly.
That's the other thing too.
Yeah, exactly. Where he also can pass or go right back up or do anything that he wants. And so,
because that's why we survived this tournament. Like overall, if we're not looking at
rebounding,
rebounding
is phenomenal.
53% versus FSU, 20 offensive rebounds is absurd. 49% versus Virginia. Versus Clemson, you only get 9 offensive rebounds, but we badly out rebounded all these teams.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. That's probably and that goes into maybe not really, but I mean, part of the next point here is the ability to maintain leads and to finish games. And this year, this team has pretty much routinely done that. Like that is a pretty massive thing. You win 2 close games here in this, and you're running good stuff. But also, I just think the guys that you have out there gives you a lot of room for error.
Well, what's John call it? Winning in the margins, right? Like we're going to win in the margins. So we're, I think we talked about it offline. It just raises our ceiling or raises the floor, I guess. When you just consistently out rebound teams, give yourself a chance.
I mean, 2 of the biggest plays in this were those Caden offensive rebounds, right? And putbacks. It's like that's.
I mean. That game, that's the game against Florida State. And then, I think it was like around the 3 minutes to go that he did it against Virginia, but we might not have scored another basket other than free throws after that.
I think, was that the one that made it 68 or 68,
66, somewhere in that.
So,
I mean, if you look at, I don't know if you guys have looked at like our Ken Palm stats lately, but we're up to 8th in the country in offensive rebounding, 7th in defensive rebounding. So when you look at the areas where we're truly elite as a team, it's 2-point percentage, 8th. The rebounding on both ends, 8th and 7th. And then, there was one more thing here. And now I'm completely missing it. We were 2nd in something. Oh, we don't foul. That's the other thing. To speak to the point of like, winning in the margins, to me, that's like we don't turn the ball over a lot, we don't foul, and we get all the rebounds.
That'll play. that'll play, and that'll track, and that'll travel, which is the most important thing. It will travel.
Completely portable. Like it's worked against every team so far, right?
In
like,
every arena,
rebounded Michigan.
Ball, with all that. If you can bring that, it's like the toughness, the rebounding, the paint protection, the defense. It's like, and John knows like that will travel, and we'll run good stuff, and we'll try to help you offensively and all this good stuff. But if we can do this,
we can win 72.
It'll give you
if we need to.
Yeah. It just gives you
if we had did we out rebound Florida? Do you guys? I know I got the box score somewhere.
I'm gonna pull that one up.
Keep going. I'll look at it. Yeah.
No, we did not.
We did not. Is that the only game
we gave up 20 offensive rebounds to Florida? That was the only reason they were basically in that game.
Back in the game.
Also, I mean, Golden, Shire, a lot of these coaches, this is something they're all tapped into, right? Like this is not.
It's a trend, man. It's a trend.
There's a
started in
reason
the NBA and has now shifted to college. I was like just on YouTube the other day, and there a whole video about it that was pretty interesting. It's like basketball has inverted itself or something like that. And it's like the caption is like 2s are worth more than 3s. Like, so just what the common wisdom that like kind of started with the Golden State era, right, has completely flipped on its head, where now teams just want to be huge and they want to crush you on the inside.
Yeah.
And they figured out defensively how to not be kind of exploited in space while doing that. And I think that's, the big difference, right? Because when you used to play 2 bigs, you were just like, you get shredded by guards.
Yep.
And just the efficiency, possession management is at an all-time high. I mean, Duke probably wants to shoots more 3s than some of those other, definitely more than like Arizona, but like UConn's right there, Michigan's right there. Like all those teams are playing a very different style, but a similar philosophy in terms of like at the underpinning how they're going to win, what they're going to do to maintain that. But all right, fellas, I know before we're going to get into some, obviously recording this on Selection Sunday here, so we'll talk about that stuff a little bit. We're going to get into some ACC tournaments and flower stuff. Before we do that, though, Shoe, you want to kind of go through a little bit more of just the behind-the-scenes stuff, talking to Coach. Obviously, his family was there. There's a lot of emotion, too, but I thought there was a lot of kind of reciprocal kind of coolness, if you will, or whatever, between the Duke guy. I know Slim was chatting it up and very kind of vocal and very humorous and all that stuff too. So just kind of a little bit of that experience on the backside.
Yeah, well, for me, the biggest thing is like just seeing the Duke, not only the brotherhood, the motherhood, the fatherhood, all that stuff. Like seeing the families there. I even saw Wendell Moore's mom walking around Saturday for the championship game. So, her son hasn't played here in 3 seasons.
Gerald Henderson in the house too.
Gerald and his dad, senior sitting right behind me. So, yeah, I mean, it's just nice seeing, all these people and how well they get, they get along and are there for the good of the team, right? Like it's not really about egos. They're there to do this one thing. These kids are chasing this dream. So seeing that was awesome. And then just shout out to John. Like I'm thinking back, like if we would have started doing this around Coach K, like I don't know if I would be able to ask Coach K questions. Like I would probably feel a little, but John's just something about, how personable he is. And the players as well. The players, obviously they're well schooled and they're going to give you the kind of stuff, but there's a time or two that you can, make them smile, crack a little joke or something like that. So just seeing, their kind of human side.
Yeah. Shout out to Matt Giles too. He was covering this thing a lot, and we were kind of interacting a little bit on Twitter too. He got a nice video of you and Coach and just doing all that. But
getting a little dap from Coach after he's, walking away after winning this championship. I will give a shout out to, we see the Boozer family on TV. Cece's fit for the championship. Like I got a picture of it. I asked her, can I take a picture of this? Because I thought it was super awesome. But it was like a woven in like pictures of Cam and like into her jacket. Like it was.
Her and Carlos have been going hard on the fit, dude.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of the big flare pants.
Yeah. He's got the Jinko jeans from back in the day. I don't know if kids remember those.
Yeah, maybe it's out of my tax bracket. Fashion.
Yeah, I mean, that clothing's a little bit loose for me, but it's like at the same time.
The hoodie is fire though, with the 2 and the 12. Like that is, Yeah, that's
I
And
mean,
when-
but
when
the
you got a
fans feel
beard
like
like
he's
that-
sneaking his own pizzas in his jeans or something.
yeah. No,
Well, look,
that's-
I mean, he grew up in the 90s, right? So it's like,
Yeah, sure.
he's got to
I
throw
get
it
what-
back to the Jenko rave days.
Yeah, no, I get it. He was cool. I talked to him for a second, mostly about golf, but Bayham coming interrupted my conversation with Carlos.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, just wanted to acknowledge that stuff a little bit. Obviously, John talking to his daughter in the press conference, like that was really
Yeah,
cool.
that was
adorable.
awesome. If you
My
haven't seen
daughter's
that,
4,
find
so
that.
it's like stuff like that, dude. It's just like, oh, like that's good stuff. There's a clip too. You mentioned Carlos on like Twitter. Somebody had posted it, but like there's a guy in a Carolina jersey, like sitting kind of like right beside him and just cheering with him. And they're like, hey, this guy's like cheering for Duke. And it's like, I think it's probably just like a dad to dad thing, dude. Like you're seeing Carlos sitting there going nuts for both of his kids. It's hard to hate on that a little bit. And it's hard to hate Carlos Boozer in general. If you've ever, I don't know him, but if you've ever even been around him or interacted with him, just a cool dude. So shouts to,
and the last thing I'll say, I don't know if you guys saw it. I put it on Twitter. The guys, they've won the championship, cut down the nets, done everything. Now they have to do they're required to speak to us for 30 minutes post game or whatever. So Slim comes out of the locker room and he's like, yo, we got to get back to Durham. So
hurt it up. Wrap it up, bro.
I was like, all right, that's probably the realest thing any of those guys have ever told to us. Like
Slim was outside on this weekend. I mean, somebody else had asked him, like, what did you learn? Like, what did you learn about your team this week? He's like, we didn't learn nothing.
We
some
dogs,
dogs.
bro.
Like, this is what we come here to do. Like, we're about it, bro. Like,
I love the swimming, shark swimming in the ocean.
Yeah,
I got a good picture of them doing that.
That was got the 5-man 4 slap to finally got to link that up. Just a big time tournament, man. I think it's, obviously Duke came there to win, and it's not that we were picking against Duke. I think most of us, I'll speak for ourselves, I was picking more on the urgency of some of the teams that we would play, and like you're playing good teams, and you all saw it. They all wanted Duke. I think McCrary, and maybe Clemson knew not to poke the bear a little bit. Everybody else was talking about how hey, we're ready, we want this, yada yada, and they played well. But
When you think about FSU's motivation level, right? That's their only chance to make the tournament.
Yeah, they got to do it. They got to do it. Yeah, they played us,
and
really
they'd already almost beat Duke earlier in the year. It's like,
and that Florida State team was capable. They almost beat Florida earlier in the year, even though neither of those teams were playing great then.
The ACC is going to be just fine, man. Like they got some really good coaches, like young coaches, new coaches, that are just all playing a style that. And to me, that's what's always made the ACC super special. Just for my own personality, like my own personal preferences, it's just the style of play that the conference typically has, man. You hear about Big Ten stuff, you hear about, but the ACC is typically a very open and fun, and it's just been that kind of a league until Tony Bennett kind of did his thing there for a little bit. But outside of that, Duke, Carolina, even Wake, like those state, they all want to play. They all want to play ball. Like they all want to play at a good product here. Now you get Virginia and Odom, and obviously you got Kelsey. I just think the health of the conference is good. And I think they got 8 teams into the tournament, right? So I mean that speaks to you too.
Let me while we're speaking on this, did you guys care indifferent about how the ESPN dictated the look? Normally, I would have been at work at noon on Thursday, so unless I take the day off to watch the Duke game, which I would have done, but I mean, I get it. Some people wouldn't have watched that game, and now we play at 7. You know how ESPN kind of inverted the
way I and Raul, you can know about it. For me, I was happy about that when I first heard it because it made my viewing thing, better. And then I heard that John was pissed, and then I was pissed about it too, right? So Duke, like whatever y'all want, like whatever. Yeah. If that's more of an advantage for you, or and I get it on the second and third day as the times start to shift, you do want that added,
especially for us coming in shorthanded, right?
Sure, screw it. But I didn't care too much. I mean, personally, the later time is more beneficial for me. But I don't, whatever helps the team, I want to win. So
I thought it was a very understandable decision to have people be able to watch Duke and to a lesser extent UNC, right? Because if it's at 12 o'clock, a lot of people just can't watch that. But if it's 7 and 9:30 or whatever, everybody's going to be able to watch that. Now I initially wasn't annoyed either because my thought process was, well, UNC or Clemson won't have a rest advantage against us, so what's the problem? But I didn't think about it from John's perspective, which was like, no, you're the 1 seed. You should have a large rest advantage, which is what we used to have, right?
Yeah, we want that. And you want that, like, it's
you
not
can game
so much,
plan a little bit more for your opponent.
Right. And it's not so much playing it like, oh, we're playing at 8:30 at night, and then we're also playing at 8:30 at night the next night. I think maybe though, like, if I play at 12 or 1, I got this whole daytime recovery too, right? And then film, and then nighttime, and then we do our walkthrough, and then we play.
Right. You can get like ice baths in for your sore players. You can watch film. You can going
to bed, and then you're trying to wake up and see what's going on a little bit there too. So I mean, I get it, but it is what it is. But fellas, I know we're already 51 minutes into this thing. We need to pay some bills. All right, fellas, let's come back. Nice little break there. And we're going to get into a few different things on the break. But before we jump into some of the selection stuff, I want to make sure that we give the flowers here and just really let this soak in, appreciate another ACC tournament championship. Duke has dominated this tournament for pretty much my entire life for the most part here, fellas, but I still love it. And so I like to celebrate it too, just because, we had the team last year. You went to a Final Four. Number 6 is right where everyone wants, but nothing's guaranteed, man. Just because you went last year don't mean you're going back, and things can happen. And I've watched, maybe not better teams, because it might be one of the best teams, but I've watched really good teams lose in this tournament. And so, I like to have this as a banner for this squad, a championship for this squad. You hang something up. So let's go through it a little bit here. Caden Boozer, MVP. We talked about that a little bit. Him and Slim are on your first team. Caden Boozer hits there in your second team. I thought he could have made a push there, but hey, that's okay. I'll take that. But was there anyone else that didn't get listed here that maybe you toss into that? I mean, Nik was really damn good, man. Like, he was really solid in this tournament for you. Obviously, you're not going to have only Duke guys on there, but typically these teams are dominated by the winners. I don't know. Any gripes or anything from y'all on the?
I mean, for me, I think that it's fun. I think Isaiah having the game he had against Florida State with the 32, and then again, wasn't really scoring in the Clemson game. Played great defense, just and then rebounded, filled in. I think John mentioned Foster was doing a great job of rebounding from the guard position, and so we really needed Slim to kind of step up there, and he did that. Just shows that he's about the things that do whatever it takes to win. So yeah, no complaints from me.
Yeah, I mean, look, Slim was our leading scorer in 2 out of the 3 games, right? So, clearly he should be on the first team. I think the only debate is whether Caden should be on there too, but do you really want to give 3 out of 5 guys? I understand why they did it that way.
Sure.
And then the other thing is, I do think Nik could have had a case. Maybe if there was an extra tournament team, he probably would have been on there. Maybe the numbers just don't pop enough, but I was going to kind of nominate him as our MVP role player for the tournament. If we're not looking at stars, just the guy who the glue guy who filled in all the gaps for us and really kind of put us over the top. For me, it would be Nik.
Yeah. I mean, he was the connector for me this tournament, right? He on both ends, whatever you needed, get what you need, right? Whatever seemed button needed to be there he was, man. There he was.
Yeah, especially considering, I mean, without Caleb, Caden's playing point guard. Well, Caden didn't play 40 minutes every game, so somebody had to bring the ball up, and Nik.
And even when he played 40 minutes, it's not like he's out there just ball dominant Bobby hurling it out there either, right?
Right, but they're they were pressing, and I think
they were
smart on them. This is our shorthanded, our 3rd game in 3 days.
Yeah, they really tried to get it, and it worked in the early part of the second half, right? They kind of blew us out there, not blew us out, but they kind of got a spurt and really, really after we went up 7 early in the first half, the next probably 7 or 8 minutes of leading into the second half was Virginia dominated. They dominated.
And Nik, he showed us some of those point guard skills earlier in the year, but I don't feel like he's had a chance to really show them off since then because Caleb and Caden have been so good. So for him to get a little of these reps, it's just a different look too. To me, it's more like the way Sean Livingston played point guard. You know what I mean? Where it's like that very slow, methodical, he backs you up with just like a series of post moves, kind of going left and right, juking a little bit, getting his body into a guy, and then he just makes the correct pass out of that situation.
Yeah. That's a deep comp right there. I like that. Sean Livingston.
Hey, he almost played for Duke, so
yeah, almost right.
It would have looked a lot different than Golden State Sean Livingston, though, because hear before he broke his leg and all that, he was very athletic. But
both, right? Both of those things, man. That was one of the worst injuries out there, man. But wanted to get some flowers, and y'all, I got a question. It's not on here, but just for y'all, did John Shire win National Coach of the Year in this tournament? I don't know, it's a whole season thing, but you got Michigan dropping a game. Miami Ohio lost their first round in their tournament here. I mean, it's Shire or Tommy Lloyd, and that's about a two-man race for me at this point. I mean, maybe Hoiberg's still in that conversation. But they got 5 more losses. I mean, I don't know. They got some more losses. I don't know, man. I don't know. Did he lock that up for y'all?
I mean, considering how impressive it was to go into this tournament and win, being down 2 starters, it would, obviously we're biased, but it'd be my nod. If I had a vote, that's the way it go.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dusty May is going to be a little bit out of contention because of that loss today, having one more loss than Duke and losing head-to-head to Duke, right? Mm-hmm. So I think you're right, Josh, that it would be between him and Tommy Lloyd. My argument for Duke would be that we have the number 1 overall seed. So there's that. We have the most quad 1 wins of all time. Now, I know the quad system hasn't been in place that long. What are we up to in terms of ranked wins? Because we just added another one here. So it's got to be like 12 or 13.
12, ranked wins.
Yeah. So just 2 losses on the season. Again, battled through some adversity as well. Just won the ACC in a very improved ACC regular season and the tournament championship. I mean, I think he's going to get it. Like, I think this, to me, put him over the edge.
And he's gotten enough of the national media. Like we talked about that. Like that really started to shift the last couple of weeks. And once that starts to happen here, you go and you win this tournament down 2 starters like that. I mean, it's a pretty compelling case. If Tommy Lloyd were to get it, to me, that's nowhere near as egregious as Kelsey getting it last year, like in the ACC. But, I love Tommy Lloyd. I think he's a hell of a coach, and I could see this thing coming down to Duke, Arizona in the championship game like that. That could be your finals here. But it's got to be one of those 2. And I think I would give the nod to John ever so slightly. I mean, Arizona's done. I mean, they've got a great resume too. Duke having the win over Michigan though in the neutral, I think that's the best win in the country. Maybe.
I mean, we beat 2 of the number 1 seeds, right? We beat Michigan. We beat Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, Arizona beat Florida the first game of the year, and then
they haven't played Michigan, so it's like
and we both lost to Texas Tech, so that's an interesting kind of thing there. Texas Tech, both of us.
But Texas Tech, did they get them at Texas? I think it was at Texas Tech, right? Not in Tucson.
Texas Tech beat them in Tucson. Yeah, they lost at Kansas, and then the very next game, Texas Tech got them, and that might have been. He missed a game there too, so that might have been.
Yeah, that might have been a Pete was missing, I think. Yeah, but
he played, but he only played 11 minutes. Yeah, he only played 11 minutes in that one. So
did he get injured in that one? Maybe
so.
There's no reason he would have played only 11 minutes otherwise, right?
Yeah, he got hurt in that game. Yeah. So that's the one. He got hurt early in that game, and then he didn't play the next 3 or 4. Yeah. So
but that's still a crazy impressive win for Texas Tech.
Yeah, big time.
Go into Tucson and win.
Big time win. Yeah. So that's the only 2 losses they've had, and they've won all of them before those 2 and everything since. So, I think those are your 2 clear best teams at this point here, fellas. But all right. Next thing, I guess, before we get into the bracket, we'll go ahead and drop this. I just saw Field of 68. We're talking to John and just some of the stuff that from our side of the boards and stuff. Feeling pretty good about Pat coming back. I would expect him to play Thursday here. I don't think you need him in a 116 game, but for me, I think you want to at least get a little bit of
Want some reps, right?
Put some reps on this for multiple reasons. Let's see how give me 7 to 8 minutes in the first half and maybe 5 in the second half, and see how you respond after playing, sitting, playing again. This is his first tournament game that he's going to start in a Duke. Let's touch the court a little bit against a 16 seed, because Ohio State's a top 25 can probably even be the ranked team. I mean, you could find yourself in a closer. You could lose an 8-9 game here too, right? So I would expect him to play Thursday. I expect him to start Thursday personally, but if not, it sounds like Saturday he'll be available.
You got to have him out there as soon as possible. Again, like Malik Brown has been fantastic for us this year, but
it's one and done. Like Coach said, it's one and done now.
And I think we've seen some of Malik's limitations and why Pat is the more valuable player, and stuff like on off just really backs that up. Duke is 8 points per 40 minutes better with Pat on the floor than they are with Malik. That's significant.
That is
8 points. That swings a lot of games, right?
That absolutely does. Yeah, that absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and the real thing is having all three of them together, and what versatility and flexibility.
Exactly.
There are going to be matchups where Pat's maybe just not getting exposed in the drop, or getting exposed up top, and Malik can come in, or it's Cam got a tough matchup, Malik switch off. Like we can do that.
Yeah. Or Malik is just not big enough to battle, and then you put Pat there.
You put Pat in there. Yeah. So,
and I also just think the biggest loss to me with Pat being out is just on offense, honestly. Like, he's just a much better offensive player than Malik. We saw Malik, bobble a few passes this tournament that would have been easy buckets if he had been able to hang on to them, right? Pat's hands are just terrific. Malik's a good passer, but Pat's a great passer. And it really unlocks a lot of our offense. You saw against Michigan late, just running that same play over and over on the wing there.
Yeah, he's got some touch too. Yeah, and he can take over at times. And but obviously we got to have Pat back, and I think we will. Caleb is the one that it's just going to be a while. I think there's a chance, just based off the tea leaves and what I've read and what John has said, that if you go back and listen, right after he had that surgery on Sunday, and John was saying we'd have to make a deep run, but he would need at least 2 weeks post surgery. Well, 2 weeks is DC. Put you where you could theoretically, try this thing out in DC. Maybe you don't have to get all the way to Indy to see Caleb return. But
I was hanging around some of the fam near the elevator, and that was kind of what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard. The optimism that DC we could see a Caleb return.
Maybe, and we're talking, maybe it is 15 off the bench, 20 off the bench, but it just reinvigorates the squad too.
Before we get into the full thing, I did want to give some flowers to some other people just for the season that we just accomplished. Only having 2 losses, people that you don't really see behind the scenes, but we've mentioned this name before. Trevor Marcus, the guy, he's basically the video guy. Whenever there's a challenge, he's the one telling. I dapped him up. He was on it, not only on top of that, but giving the scout it. It sounds like a Brick from Anchorman. He just yells random thing like Portland, Lamp, whatever it is, but he's calling out the plays that these guys are about to run. You just, you don't see it on the TV, but he's over here telling our guys this is what they're doing. We're about to try to do. So wanted to shout him out. And then the other person John hit on in the press conference following the UVA game, Duke just become the first ACC school to win men's basketball, women's basketball, and men's football championships in the same calendar year. So Nina King, give her flowers for everything she's done. Just wanted to get some of that in before we got into the bracket stuff.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. And all those guys, all the assistant coaches, to the whole staff, Shraggy, everybody, top to bottom.
I was going to shout out Evan Brads as well. I think he has a huge impact on the offense.
Yeah, and just watch the coach. I was watching. Obviously, we're all watching, but in the Virginia game, I was looking at the sidelines a little bit too, man. And as John's up here, you see Carewell like relaying, getting stuff from Dildy, giving it back to John, parsing it out. Thornton's down there, like doing like it's a full like they're active, man. They are active, and it shows. And it shows, right? That's how you get to 32-2. I mean, it's Will Wade doesn't say that stuff about everybody, you know. Like it's impressive of what they're doing. It's intentional. It's intentional. But fellas, I know we've been in a long one here. We're going to come back, y'all, and do a very thorough deep dive on the bracket. But it is Selection Sunday, one of my favorite events too, especially when you got a team like this. Didn't have to wait long. Duke is the number 1 overall seed in this thing. So we'll briefly just look at Duke's East region here. Then we'll come back and probably record in a day or two, do a kind of a bigger bracket analogy, maybe get into some of our favorite kind of early games, do some preview type stuff. We'll do the full thing. But fellas, just off the top here, it's not listed here. I just saw, but Duke will play Thursday at 2:50. Against Siena, so that will start us off here in Greenville, followed by the winner of the Ohio State and TCU. I'll go through a little bit, and then we can kind of get into it here. You get Kansas as your 4, St. John's as your 5. We can talk about that a little bit if y'all want. You see an ACC foe down below you. You got Louisville down there at the 6th seed, so they fell there a little bit. Michigan State, no surprise that they're in Duke's region, y'all. That seems to be a shoe-in just about every year. So there they are waiting for you there. Going down the bracket, it's nice to see UCF, UCLA. That's a big time game right there in the first round. That might be my favorite first round game in this bracket. Yeah. And then you get UConn, Furman down there, which could potentially set up some old blood between Duke and UConn and an Elite 8 regional and Washington. Fellas, just kind of off the top here, just your general reactions. I don't think any one of us here was surprised that Duke got the number 1 overall after taking care of business there in a year where the conference tournaments actually had a little bit of a wait. You saw Purdue jump all the way up to the 2 line here. So they did factor in some of these games, maybe a little bit longer than they initially would. But first initial thought, y'all, looking at Duke's path here.
I think it's a good one. I've heard a lot of analysts saying Duke got the toughest region. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I don't mind the narrative. I don't mind presenting the overall number 1 seed as an underdog. I kind of like that actually. But I think
do you think it's because of the coaches and it's this storied program? Bill Self, it's Pitino, it's Izzo, obviously Hurley, is one back-to-back. So I think that's the narrative that it's tough.
Yeah, I think so. All those coaches are good enough to beat you in a 1-game situation, regardless of what the talent level of their team is. But if you just look at these teams on paper, I don't think that I think, by the metrics, St. John's is a little underseeded, like they're closer to a 4 seed, but Kansas is a little overseeded, so I think that kind of balances out. Michigan State's a little underseeded, but UConn's a little overseeded, so I think that kind of balances out as well. Ohio State's, metrically,
that's the one.
Yeah, that's a tough 8. They should probably be more like a 6 seed. But to me, if Duke can't beat a 6 seed in their second game, then they weren't going to win the title anyway.
True.
Like, you got to be, I'd be far more annoyed if we'd gotten the toughest 2 or something, because I would expect Duke to have a pretty high floor in this tournament and to win the first couple games fairly comfortably. And then after that, it's when it kind of, might get a little bit dicey. So to me, I care a little bit more about who your 4 or 5 are and who your 2 are. But that's just because I think so highly of this Duke team, and I just don't really see us flaming out super, super early.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing, it's Greenville. It's not Greenville playing some South Carolina school in the second.
Yeah, exactly.
Second game, right?
Now UNC will be there. I don't know how much you guys care about that, but
I mean that does sometimes. Obviously, the Carolina fans are going to root for whoever we're playing against. I think this Duke team's just.
We've been in too many environments, man.
Yeah, man. I don't think this.
Yeah. So battle tested.
Yeah. I just don't. If anything, that might be a benefit to this Duke team, right?
It might be.
They might just.
Isaiah Evans might love that.
just might lean into it. So yeah, I'm not super, that part right there doesn't concern me. I'm with you. I think there's a lot of like shock value maybe when you're looking at some of the programs, some of the coaches here. But I like the region. To me, it's not that I'm scared of any team. You're 32-2. We've proven we can beat anybody. But I'm also like, hey, we're still trying to get things back up to speed. Like we're still reintegrating two guys at different levels here at different times potentially. I'm just fine not having to play Darius Acuff again, like in the Sweet 16 or something, right? Like that's a big time game, and you don't have Caleb Foster, who like won the game for you against Arkansas, right? Like, and they had a lead on us, and that's your best kind of maybe guy to put on him outside of Dame Sarr, but you're going to have to throw a different look. So, you don't have to deal with that. You don't get
if you put Sarr on Acuff, like it's like they've got a lot of good guards on that team. Then it's like that creates a problem elsewhere, right? So
right. So you avoid that. I mean, really in the West, Arizona got, I think, the most brutal, like 4-5 over there. I mean, Arkansas, Wisconsin was probably the 4-5 tandem I was wanting to not have to deal with.
Wisconsin has 5 top 10 KenPom wins.
Yeah,
that's got to be the most of any 5 seed. They're dangerous.
And guards go like that's a big time 4-5 over there. If they both make it, that's an incredible second round game there potentially. But so yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, potentially
I like avoiding Texas Tech as well, to be honest. I know Texas Tech is without Toppin now, but they've still been really good, and they still pulled off some great wins. So
no, Iowa State here is your 3 too.
That's another one too. Yeah,
that's another big one. So you don't have that. I mean, you're looking at it. St. John's is hard to make a little bit of them kind of exactly what they are. They're going to be tough for sure. Like like Patino, that's what they do.
They're going to be physical, and their offense is going to be gross.
That's about what it's That's about what it's going to be. Kansas is hard to tell too with what you're going to get with Peterson and like.
Well, Kansas would be if you were playing them in the second game, like a back-to-back. You probably, but if you're playing them the way we would be, which would be the following Thursday, it's not a week, but 5 days for Bill Self to game plan or whatever, and for Darren Peterson to rest. I don't know.
That does make me a little bit more nervous for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have that whole. Yeah, he have a week to come in, so you're gonna get him. He's gonna play,
and maybe Peterson's just like, screw it. This might be my last college game. I'm gonna play 35 minutes. I'm gonna push through the cramps, and he just goes nuclear.
Goes nuts there. Yeah, I mean, it could happen.
So we struggled with Badunga already, right? Like that was not. We pulled away from Kansas, but that was a good 30-minute battle there.
That was a good game. Yeah, that was a good game.
Trey White, was that the kid from Illinois? Like he went off on us, even though Peterson didn't play. So maybe if Peterson plays, you're pulling shots from him, and it all kind of evens out there.
If your defense can get the 3 of 17 Peterson game, then it's a blowout. And then if he's 14 or 17, you get blown out. So whatever.
Council was awful when they played us, so that's another X factor there. It's like if he plays better as well, I don't know.
Which our defense has gotten better since then too.
That's true. Yeah, that was that. It's really hard to judge our early season matchups because I don't think we were anywhere near what we are now.
Right.
At full strength, of course. Right.
Yeah. And Houston just wiped the floor with them a little bit too, right? And so it's like, okay. But either way, I think just for Duke fans, that Sweet 16 is going to be like, all right, we've got some guys back. Are we at the level that we need to be? Because DC is going to be big time. You look at the bottom half down there. I mean, are you trending towards just a rematch with Michigan State in the Elite Eight here, fellas? Like I'd love to play UConn, maybe to get some old blood off the back there. But it's hard for me to not see Michigan State Duke yet again in an Elite Eight game. But
as much as I would like to play UConn, just because. I think that would be a good matchup, fans wise, and we've played Sparty enough. But I think we owe Izzo a little payback for that 2019 team that knocked us out of the Elite Eight there, Zon's team.
Well, we owe UConn plenty of payback.
That's true too. That's true too. Yeah, we had them.
Though the late time we played in the Elite Eight versus them, we did get them.
Yeah,
that was 1990, right? 1990
and the Elite Eight, Leitner hits a buzzer beater.
Yeah. Leitner's first buzzer beater, I believe.
Yeah, was that 90 or 89? I don't know. Either one. Yeah, I remember
90.
that. I don't remember it really, but yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So there's some potential matchups down there. UCLA would have been a 7 seed that I would have been like, ooh, I might pick that, but apparently they've just lost some guys too. So
I don't know if Dent and Bilodeau's playing. Maybe they are.
Yeah,
and I think that game's in Philly. They're coming from LA to play Central Florida over in Philly, and Central Florida. We played them in our preseason game. Dawkins' team. I think we ended up beating them by 24-25. But
the first half we were tied at half. Basically.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they played us tough, man.
And that was that was in camera, and like I like them to win that game, and I even like them to maybe challenge UConn a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just, as you can maybe tell, I'm just not sold on UConn. Maybe I'm leaning too much into the metrics here, but to me, it's just like you got a kind of so offense and like a pretty good but not great defense. I just don't see the allure there.
Yeah, just watch them squeak out so many wins against Georgetown and DePaul's and whoever. So
yeah, man. So you avoided a few things in there. I mean, you don't have to play Illinois, who did have the number 1 offense for a long time. I think they're down to like the 2nd offense or whatever it is now.
Yeah, well,
I think Purdue got back up to the 1st offense after there.
Speaking of tough year for our boy Bobby Hurley, got let go from his job, and then I believe Braden Smith is after today 1 assist shy of breaking Bobby's all-time assist record.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's gonna pass that.
Yeah.
Within a couple minutes in the next game.
Yeah, it won't be long. I mean, he haunted it for a long time this year.
Yeah, I mean, how hilarious would it be though if they just first round gets?
Yeah, but he's gonna have 2 assists.
He still would have the assist. Yeah, still have the assist, I guess. Yeah, that sucks for Bobby, man. That does suck for Bobby, but held it for a long time.
Yeah, records are meant to be broken, right? So
yeah,
that's what it is.
All right, fellas, let's get out of here. It's been a long one. It's been an hour and a half. Shouts to the squad. Shouts to the guys. It's been a hell of a season for them. Super fun covering it. Job's not finished though, right? Like we just went through it. We're looking at the bracket here. We're going to come back and do another deep dive on it. But it's been a good one. It's been a good one, y'all. So, again, we appreciate everyone else, too. We appreciate y'all for chugging along with us and hanging out with us. But, fellas, any final parting shots for I run us out?
Let's finish this season, 38-2?
38-2, and then we'll
go down
make
as the greatest team ever?
Yeah, well, y'all tag Shoe, man. Y'all hit him up and send us some stuff on what you want us to do if this thing finishes 38-2, because he asked
gonna have to be a public apology to Cam Boozer
back in the day about the best big team, and we might be doing some fantasy football shenanigans with this one here. So we'll see. Don't want to count it before it happens, but it's go time. So let's get what we need here. Again, appreciate you all. Please rate, review, subscribe. Email us, TheDevilsDen.pod@gmail.com. Love to hear from y'all. And let's go get this thing, man. Let's go get this thing. Let's go get 6. Let's hang another banner. Let's enjoy the ACC tournament though, too. Like celebrate that. Hell of an accomplishment for John and the guys. And
3 and 4 years. I don't know. I don't think we even mentioned that part, right?
Nobody's done that. I think I did at the very, very top. Yeah, 3 and 4. Yeah, no one's done that. And so, just hopefully
he's one of only a few coaches to win 3 period in the ACC.
Roy Williams for ACC
titles. Still searching, right? Brownell's still searching for one. So it's not as easy as they make it look. But shouts to John, shouts to the squad. You can follow us too on X/Twitter, TheDevilsDen.Pod 247. Find us over on the board, TheDevilsDen.com, and keep the faces strong and the bravado. Go Duke.